Hello my friend, welcome back to my channel. Today I am sharing with you 3 of my all-time favorite dinners to make. They are very easy and they are so stinking delicious. The 3 meals that I am sharing with you are 1. The Skinniest Dish Best Meatloaf. This is the best meatloaf I've ever had in my life, hands down. I've made it no less than a dozen times and it is a crowd pleaser every single time I make it. My second meal is the very simple, very basic grilled chicken, but I'm going to show you how I prep the chicken so it turns out moist and tender and delicious instead of dry, boneless, skinless chicken breast. And the third thing I'm going to show you is pork loin. I want to give you a little bit of note that the way that I cook my pork loin and prepare my pork loin is the same as I do for boneless pork chops as well. It is the same cooking technique, the cuts of meat are just a little bit different. But these 3 things, the meatloaf, the chicken, and the pork, make up a heavy bulk of what I cook at home, and every time I make these dishes, everybody is pleased. My husband loves it, my in-laws love it, and I love it. It's healthy, it's mostly lean, and it's really good. So on that note, enjoy. My next favorite dinner is the basic boneless, skinless chicken breast. It is so good, it is so lean and nutritious, it really packs a protein punch, and it is so versatile. And we're not even going to get into what all you can do with it. That's a story for another day, but I'm going to show you just the most basic way that I make my chicken breast. And I don't even know if there's like scientific proof of this, but the thing that changed the game for me with boneless, skinless chicken breast is this beauty right here. This is a meat hammer, a meat tenderizer. And what I do with my boneless, skinless chicken breast, I'm not going to do it today because these are already done, but when I get them, I basically beat the crap out of them. But the reason I do that is to try and get them to as even of a thickness as possible. Because you know, especially when you buy budget-friendly, like Sam's Club stuff and everything, some of the thicknesses of one side of the breast is so thick and the other one is super thin. And that is going to guarantee an uneven cook time, which means half of your breast is going to get dried out and the other half might not cook all the way through. So tenderizing it, beating it, and yes, sometimes shredding it, look at that, ends up helping you keep an even cook time throughout the cook. And it also tenderizes the meat. And I have found that when I have started doing this, my chicken breasts that are grilled come out so juicy, moist, and delicious that it's unbeatable. It's wonderful. So these have already been pre-pounded, but this is what I use. I have a meat tenderizer? I don't even know what you're gonna call it, but they're available on Amazon, super easy. And I beat all the chicken breasts, and I do that in mass when I purchase them. So when I put chicken in the freezer, it's already pounded, so I don't have to do it later, which is exactly what happened with these. Pulled them out of the freezer, thawed them, they were ready to go, and then we get to do the seasoning thing. My favorite thing to use is just basic old chicken grilling spice. Right now, I happen to have the McCormick one, but my absolute favorite one is literally $1.48 from Target, Good and Gather brand, chicken grilling seasoning, I think it's called. It is so good. And all you do is you take your grilling seasoning and you apply it liberally to the chicken breasts. And again, if you are doing it in some other way, barbecue or Asian style or whatever, that you might do something different. Today we are just preparing basic grilled chicken, which is super flavorful. And then of course, do not forget to flip it over and do the other side. And then here is the other secret, my friends. I do not count my cooking oil as long as it's just a little splash here and there. But what I'm currently doing is spraying extra virgin olive oil on the chicken breast directly. And you kind of rub that around. And that is what you end up grilling it in, which is great if you are using a nonstick pan. Sorry about the dog, y'all. It's mood at this point. So you just are very generous with the oil. So you have oil and seasoning on here, and then you put it on the grill pan. Then all you do is you preheat your grill pan. I love this grill pan. It is a Teflon grill pan from Bed Bath & Beyond. Absolutely love it. We'll link it below. And then you get it nice and hot to sear the side. You just throw your chicken breast in there. And you're gonna let it cook for 2 or 3 minutes on one side. Then you're going to flip it over, let it sear for another couple minutes, and then you're going to cover it and turn the heat down a little bit so you don't burn the sides, but you've seared in all of the juices. So my final dish for my top 3 dinners is pork. I know the raw meat is disgusting, but bear with me because I promise it is worth it. These are, I don't know if they're called pork loins. They're the long strips that you get. I got these at Sam's Club, but you can pretty much find them anywhere meat is sold. This technique also works for pork chops. I've never done bone-in pork chops, but I do boneless pork chops. And I do the exact same thing for this or for pork chops. Today I just so happen to be cooking this. And what I'm doing right now is brining the pork in a mixture of salt and sugar. And I used no specific measurements. I measured today just so I had something to tell you. And I used like a 1/4 cup plus 1/8 of a cup of salt. And then I used maybe 1/8 of a cup of sugar, whatever. It's all to taste. Make sure you fill it with water enough to dissolve it, but don't overuse the water so you end up diluting the salt solution. You want it to be as salty as possible. And then you put the meat in here and let that brine for half an hour.
One of the cardinal rules of cooking is seasoning and seasoning things well. One of my all-time favorite seasonings is the Trader Joe's onion salt, and that is what I regularly use to season my pork. All I'm doing is applying it generously to all sides after having removed it from the brine and dabbing it dry. The next step is to heat up your pan with a little bit of olive oil in the bottom of it, and you want to sear each side for about 3 minutes each. I know that doesn't sound like enough time. It certainly is not enough time. We're actually going to transfer the pork to a cookie sheet and put it in the oven at 400 degrees for about 10 minutes. The pork is considered medium rare at a 145-degree Fahrenheit temperature. You can pull it out at 140 if you allow it to rest to get to temp. Did you know you could cook pork to a medium rare? I promise you it is delicious and completely safe. Inside you're going to see a little bit of pink and it's going to be tender and juicy after you pull it out of the oven. So just make sure it's to temp and you are good to go.
Those are my 3 favorite dinners, my friends. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I want to hear from you. What are your favorite dinners? What are the meals that you go to again and again and again for your dinner choices because they're your favorites? They're your family's favorites or they're crowd pleasers. Feel free to comment below, link some recipes, and share with the community because we would all love to have some more favorite dinners to enjoy. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch. Take care. I'll see you next time.